There you go, good boy. Lay down, buddy. Hey, Janie. How are you? Buddy. Ooh, 4 people popped in with 4 likes. What's up, Sharon? I am good, Jane. I'm glad you are with us. I'm glad Sharon's with us tonight. Sharon! Amber, hello. DC, hello. Richard Carr, how are you? Shari, Jacob Hilliard, Nick Hendricks, RH, Web Surfer, Simone, Clint. Candy, Kelly, how are you? DB Mac, what's going on? Troy, how are you? Rockin' steady. Silver Fox, top of the morning to you. What's up, Glenn? Jimmy Brunson. Nicholas Carroll, how are you? Larry Fisher. Nino, you sexy motherfucker. Popping in right at the very beginning. Just sticking the tip in just a little bit. What's going on, Doug? How are you? I'm doing well. Glad everyone's here. Kathy, how are you? So I'm going to wait a few minutes. Caden, how are you, buddy? You know what? Fuck it. You guys will see. You guys will find out tomorrow morning. I feel like I owe you guys an explanation. So St. Lawrence County, Northern Adirondacks, absolutely. What are you up in Messina, Doug? Malone? No, Malone's not St. Lawrence, I think. Messina, Governor. Messina? Beautiful area up there. Love that place. Yeah, buddy. Love Messina. So I was actually looking at houses probably an hour ago up in Messina. Really quick, I feel like, Web Surfer, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Luxury Slim, how are you? So I owe you guys an explanation. I feel like I do. And this week, with the exception of a couple of videos, Brad and DJ, I had done a lot actually, of re-uploads and pre-recorded uploads. I just pre-recorded a bunch of videos. My dad was hospitalized November 20th and put in palliative care back 3 months ago. The man is a miracle. He came home on my mom's birthday, June 5th. And I had to get their house ready. I had to get a hospital bed from the VA. I had to redo a bunch of stuff in their bathroom, and just really put together their house for them. So I never thought my dad would be coming home, but he is home, and it's just it is a miracle. And I owe you guys a lot of thanks for your prayers, and I truly appreciate it. So that's why there was a lot of pre-recorded and re-uploads this week, just because I didn't have time to do a lot of anything except take care of my mom and make sure the house was, because we had to meet regulations of such with the rehabilitation center. But Big Jim is home. He's skin and fucking bone, but he's home. He's this 7-month awakening has given him a sense of humor that I've never seen before. So thank you for all of your prayers, and I really appreciate everything. I truly do. So I love you guys. So thank you. Kakalina, how are you? Brian Mons, how are you? Checking in from Salve. Nick B, your question. If could Dogman be turned into like a pet? When Robert Sharp comes in, ask him. He actually, I don't know 100%, but I believe him because I've never seen Rascal, but I believe his story. He has had experiences with a Dogman being his pet. But once again, I was not there. Yeah, my dad he does have some work to do. Whatever it is, whatever my dad was put on this planet for, he's got something. You're absolutely right. Alligator. So, hell yeah. Tyler, how are you tonight? Cat, how are you? I'm catfishing on the creek and catching this live. Be safe. So anyway, I went up to, this means crawlers are under control. Crawlers were not part of the breeding program, Amber. Victor never ever stated anything about that. Holy shit, rock and steady. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. But I think what Victor was talking about with that breeding program was like one side of the government that we may be aware of, but Dulce and that part, that's not like, that's like covert, deep fucking black ops, just not even black ops, secret government, like Illuminati money shit. No. I think the crawlers have killed Dogmen. So there's a friend of the channel, his dad, RJ, her Junior, Robert Jr. and Robert, they live out in New Mexico, and Junior seen crawlers like pounce on a Dogman, tear it apart, bring it into a cave, probably do bad things with its booter. And speaking of Robert Sharp, there he is. Someone asked Robert Sharp about pets. So I got some encounters for us tonight. Do something. 100th birthday. Wow. Your dad is in my thoughts. Do something, Diff. Definitely. So yeah, I've got this week. I really I feel like I neglected you guys in the channel by doing like re-uploads and occasionally just like a quick recording. But I did go up to where Tom Messick disappeared to today, and I recorded up there for a little bit, something I normally don't do on a Saturday, but I did. And it was actually really interesting. It was cool up there. There was no mosquitoes. It was about 65 degrees up there. And my kayak came Monday. And this next coming week, I hopefully am going to be able to hook up a camera. And there's this island that I want to check out up in Lake George, where supposedly there's supposed to be a Bigfoot sighting from like the 70s, late 60s, early 70s there. But I figure what we will do is we will start this night off with how about a Mothman encounter, because we very rarely do. So, hi, Linda Thompson, or Thomas, excuse me. How are you? Mindy Meeks, how are you? Gravity Cheeseburger, Lake 17. If there's anyone I have not said hi to, I apologize. I'm going to just start into the experiences really quick. And then as I see you guys who I don't see or who I didn't mention, I will put a tracker. Yeah, I got a little satellite tracker that I carry with me when I go hiking and such. So, and Truth Quest. No, I'm really going to do it. I just want to, I need to do bigger and better things. Like, I just want to put myself on a whole different kind of plane, I want to be out in the field 50% of the time, and I want to be in the behind the desk 50% of the time, researching, reading, and communicating with you guys and coming up with theories. So like a 50-50 kind of thing. But I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail for the live stream is Big Tigger and me. He just left the room, but here we go. This happened 15 years ago, and I still remember every detail. My mom, my friend, and I were driving home from a concert late one night, probably at 1 a.m, and we drove through some mountains. It was near Harrisonburg, Virginia. I almost said Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The roads were seriously winding, and it was so dark you could only see a couple feet ahead of you, thanks to the headlights on the car. My friend was asleep in the back seat, and she luckily did not witness any of this. I, on the other hand, was sitting in the front seat trying to help my mom stay awake. Everything was going as expected, just normal driving, when literally out of nowhere, this huge, and when I say huge, I mean it was probably only around 6 feet long thing, flew directly in front of the car. Somehow, I was able to really see a lot of this thing, even though the whole ordeal only lasted 5 to 10 seconds. But this creature was, like I said, about 6 feet in length. I only say this because it was definitely longer than the front of our car, and had these large black or dark gray wings that were kind of moth-like, and they were against the sides of it. Kind of, that makes no sense. They were against the side of it, so they were on each side of it. Kind of like if you put both of your arms down to the side. Oh, so it was kind of dive bombing them. And it was flying sideways and was right in front of our headlights. So that means it was only a few feet from the ground, and it was flying fast. We probably should have hit it considering we were going 60 miles an hour, but somehow we didn't. The creepiest and most disturbing part of it was that the body looked so human-shaped and had this gray-white bald head. My mom and I both saw the exact thing, and thank goodness she did, because I feel even crazier she didn't see it. We kept trying to explain it away. Maybe it was a bat, maybe it was an owl, but I've never seen a bat or an owl that big. There's just no way. I did some research, and years ago in the 60s, there were so many sightings of this Mothman creature around West Virginia, so I guess he's back, or maybe he never left. I've told so many people about this, and some, I think, believe me, and others just give me a skeptical look. You know, that, yeah, okay one. I know what I saw, and thank God my mom saw it as well. I'm still so freaked out about this encounter, even though it happened many years ago. I still live in Virginia, near Richmond. Thank you. What's up, Sumner? How are you? Crypt Keeper, how are you tonight? Well, that's decent that you never ran into the Mothman. I definitely would not want to. Do you ever ride horses? Savage. I've ridden them growing up. I'm not that great at riding horses. I don't I don't I don't stand when you know how you're supposed to stand on the saddle, like in the stirrups. I don't. I sit. So therefore my junk is always getting smashed. So I don't like that too much. That upload where the rock thing happened, that was last summer. I would go back and look at it. Usually says back in the Adirondacks, 411 location. I would say June, July of last year, to be honest with you, maybe August. But I do like horses. Horses are cool. I wish I knew how to ride better. But I don't. I look like Susie Costner, or excuse me, Kevin Costner used to look when he rode horses and Dancing with Wolves prior to his vast experience of riding horses now. But he didn't know how to ride horses back in Dancing with Wolves days. So that's what I look like. Can you tell me? Okay, that's not from Catherine. I don't, maybe through tonight, but I don't have any in Mississippi right now. What's up, Shackleneck? How are you, buddy? So I've got some longer encounters. So I think what I'll do is I've got a really long black-eyed kid encounter, and I got some short ones. So what we'll do is we will start it off with some short ones and then fit the longer ones in as we go. Wow, I didn't realize I got a lot of encounters. So, all right, let's start a black-eyed kids encounter right now. 26-year-old mom/wife, and I work at a theater in Tennessee. I actually drive an hour to work because I love living in Knoxville. But the theater I work at is a large tourist destination in Pigeon Forge. Anyway, this happened to me maybe 3 years ago. Because we have so many tourists, we have a timeshare booth that guests can visit. Annoying, I know. They have their own employees, and a lot of them rotate in or out or quit soon after because the job sucks. I was working the night shift, and we were about an hour away from seating the show. I was a clerk at this time. I'm now a manager, and I was on my way back from break. I'm approaching the ticket counter, and I go into the staff entrance, and I notice this super tall, super skinny woman was talking with a coworker. I'm 4'11", so a lot of people seem tall to me, but this lady had to be pushing 6 foot. I noticed that my coworker looked very uncomfortable. So I stopped to see if everything was okay. I walked up to the window, and this lady immediately turned around to face me. I stopped dead in my tracks, and my heart skipped a beat. She had what looked like solid black, watery eyes. They were the normal shape and everything, a little smaller than mine, but I couldn't see any whites at all. I immediately understood why my friend seemed so uneasy. I also noticed that this woman had a timeshare uniform on, and she looked very professional. She had reddish blonde hair that was very dried out, like she had damaged it in some way. She smiled at me and started talking. The look she gave me was predatory, like a shark. That's how it made me feel anyway. She said, "Wow, you must be super attractive to work here because you are beautiful." Then she smiled at me some more, never looking away. I didn't know what to say to her, so I just excused myself and went to the office. I felt very shaken, especially because she continued watching me until I was out of sight. I had just learned about black-eyed children, but I had never heard of a black-eyed adult. I approached my friend and asked her if she had ever heard about black-eyed kids. She said she had, but didn't have anything else after that to say about them. I didn't see the woman the rest of my shift. I got off work at around 11 p.m., so the parking lot was clear other than a few random cars when I left. It was dark, but there were several lights on in the parking lot, so I usually don't get nervous going to my car alone. I couldn't believe what I saw when I got outside. However, there she was again, but this time she was with a group of her fellow employees just gathered around a single car at the beginning of the lot. I passed them and they all immediately looked at me. She was the only one with black eyes, but they were all dead silent. They all turned their heads together to watch me walk to my car, get in, and drive away. She never stopped smiling at me, and they never stopped looking at me until I turned onto the main road. I never saw them actually talk to each other. This experience has been on my mind ever since. I don't know what to make of it, and I've never seen the woman since. Brett of Andy, how are you? Alan Conley, how are you? Simone, how are you? Frankie Peg, what's going on? Nicola, how are you, my friend? Suji? Like I said, I'm going to pop in and out of saying hi to everybody. Ugh. What's going on, Pine Knot? Hey, Pops, how are you today? I hope you're feeling better. Yes, Tommy, you forgot to say hi to everybody. Just kidding. Tommy and her husband. D.L. Hemingway, what's going on? How have you been, buddy? Nicole Clark is with us. Very good, very good. Went on a hike yesterday. Good for you. Good for you, Pops. Amber, how are you? Welcome to the live. I'm glad you're here with us, Amber. Busy, I hear that. Richard Windsor, I guess it is almost time, isn't it, guys? It is almost time for that $20 is $20, isn't it? $20 is $20. I do have this. We will do this just a little bit later. I do have an interesting something I want to say. I have an interesting theory about the shofar. So, the day of the eclipse, I had brought the shofar up to where Mezek disappeared. And I had blown it, and whatever that noise was responded back to me. I blew it again, and it seemed to be getting further away from me. So today, while I'm up there, I did blow it 3 times, like Tim Baker, Kumbo, and his friend believe that it has, if you blow it 3 times, the Trinity. But I was thinking, I was like, maybe, just maybe, instead of bringing them in, you can push them out with like the octave or the different range or however it may, like whatever frequency. And there is no like learning pamphlet for this. So I'm just going to experiment with it and see. What's up, Salty Rant? How are you, my friend? Holy shit, Pops. Thank you so much. Wow. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate you, love. Eric Baker, how are you? Coming back. Jeff. I don't know. Is Tyson out of the fight? I think Tyson's out of the fight. Once again, Pops, thank you so much. Tyson's out of the fight. I'm not a fan of McGregor. Two-way, how are you? Jared, what's going on? I'd really like to see Chael fight, come back and fight. Chael Sonnen would be an amazing fighter to, just come back. I think they should do like the old retired fighting, like bring Sakuraba back, bring Bas Rutten back. That'd be so sick. What's going on, Rattlesnake? How are you? Cop car is down just past these signs. They had this road blocked off at the end here because they had Pride Day, Pride weekend. They had the whole park they had a drag show and stuff. I didn't attend. I thought about it. Maybe I should have yelled $20 is $20 to them. I could have come home with like a Bette Midler drag queen. That would have been interesting. I'm just fucking kidding. I'm only kidding. Hey, Jen Cox, how are you? Anyone raised a Dogman pup? Robert Sharp has. Robert Sharp, and there was a woman out of New Hampshire. Small. Andy Davis, how are you, my friend? Hang on 1 second. I got to do a little adjustment. There we go. Oh, yeah. Here's an interesting one. Crazy backyard chicken man. Where is Joe tonight? I got to email her. I'll email her later and see if she's okay. I know she wasn't. She emailed me this week. She's been feeling down. So, Dale Little, thank you for becoming a member, my friend. I truly appreciate it. Member for 6 months. Hey, bud. Jeff. Chrissy, how are you? Why is this turning on? Stop turning on. All right. It all started while I was staying with a friend one night. We were hanging out like usual. Her father had come in because he thought he had seen some coyote and was excited because they don't normally get that close to the house. We went outside quietly to check it out. He flashed his lights towards it, and all we could see were these greenish eyes glowing towards us near the tree line. That's all we could see. Since we thought it was a coyote her dad had shot at, we didn't know if we had hit it or if he had hit it or not, but the eyes were still there. But after he had shot at it, it started moving its head in this very unnatural way, kind of nodding side by side. We went to check it out to see if it was injured or lying there. We looked all around the area and saw nothing. We even drove around the woods to see if we could see it running away or anything. That wasn't the last time we saw this creature. About a month or so later, my friend had gotten sent away for a while. I've always been close to the family, so I decided to come up to her dad's and stay a couple days and check on him. It was kind of early in the morning, a sunny day. Her dad told me that he was going to work and that I would be at the house alone until he got back in the afternoon. So he left, and I'm hanging out in the living room playing on my phone. I left the door open since it was nice out, when all of a sudden I felt the need to look out the window because I thought someone or something was outside. I opened the curtains and looked around, and then I saw something out of the corner of my eye in the area we had seen the coyote a while back. I looked in that direction, and I saw this terrifying human-like creature around the same spot on the edge of the tree line. It was sort of knelt down like a person staring directly at me. It was all black and very skinny. It had longish legs and arms. It was a bit tall and had this wooden leaves-looking cape thing on its back. It also didn't seem to have any facial features from what I could see, just a facial structure and indents where the eyes should have been. I was in shock staring at it. It's like I couldn't take my eyes off of this thing, trying to make sure I was actually seeing an anomaly and my mind was not playing tricks on me. So I kept staring when all of a sudden it raised its hand up and seemed like it was waving at me. And it tilted its head side by side and started nodding its head like the way we thought the coyote had done. After that, I snapped back and stood up and ran and closed the door. When I got to the door, someone was driving up to the house and the creature was no longer there. I then got the hell out of there. Here is something else that happened before both experiences that may or may not be related. One other night, my friend and I were home alone. We were just chilling on our phones, and my friend kept falling asleep. I was getting creeped out, so I kept waking her up. Then she started talking nonsense that her dad was here and talking to her. I would snap her out of it, and she would ask where he was, which she knew he had left, but she was convinced he had come back home. I sort of laughed about it and explained to her that he was not home yet. She seemed really tired, but kept talking about her dad being there. When all of a sudden we heard her dad's voice from the hallway. He says her name, just like he would if he was trying to get her attention. We both heard it loud and clear, and no one was home. After that, we didn't hear anything else for a while. After a little bit, we still had our guards up because of what happened, and we started hearing noises from outside, which just seemed like multiple people talking. It was kind of sounded like her dad and his friends. We were very scared. We called her dad to see when he would be home. He said he was on his way home. The voices calmed down right after her dad arrived home. I don't know if you guys remember the experience where the two girls were riding that four-wheeler and they had flipped it, and one of the girls had hurt her leg really bad. So the other girl was kind of pushing the four-wheeler down the hill, and the girl was operating the brake because it wouldn't start up. And they both got this creepy feeling, and they saw this crawler-like creature, and it kind of pointed at them. And right at that very moment, the ATV started up. That's what it kind of reminded me of, how it kind of pointed at her. I don't know, I just thought about that. What's wrong with Rock and Steady? Rock and Steady, what did I miss? Are you okay, brother? Mr. Fuji, how are you? Zachary Yobera. Shit. What did I miss? Is Rock and Steady okay? I gave an update on it on the book Silver Fox. Probably end of June, early July it will be out. That's the earliest I got from the publishing company. No, my dad is at his house. All right. If you need to talk, you got my number. You know you got my number and you can talk to me. The cop is parked just past the signs that are down there. Tigger will probably come in a little bit. Will the book be on Amazon? Not sure. I think so. More than likely. I am in a happier mood. I didn't realize how, and I said this today while I was up where Tom Mezek disappeared. 7 months ago in November of 2023, I had this like whole game set of things, things I wanted to do. And then whatever happened with my dad, the infection and the fucking whole escapade, I kind of just didn't know what to do. I was running around, driving an hour south with my mom almost every day, then back. And then, and now it just feels like I'm back. Like I feel like this weight has been lifted. It's weird because my dad didn't realize this is fucking pissing me off. Stop turning on. Can you guys see? You guys can't see the on-air thing. So my dad had no idea he was in palliative care. He had no idea. I talked to him about it, and he's like, "No," and I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "I came to terms that you were going to die." Like, and yeah, so I'm back. I'm 100% happier. And I owe a lot of it to you guys in your prayer. Like I've always believed in prayer. Like I always thought like, prayer does work. Prayer works for your soul, like that chicken soup for your soul shit, whatever. Not prayer. I'm just talking chicken soup for your soul, you know what I mean? But like I always thought like when you pray, it makes you feel good, so then you feel good outwards. Um but with everyone praying and for my dad and like pups gifting my mom this prayer blanket, and it just really, I really truly became more of a believer now than 7 months ago. I've always believed in God. Like I've always believed in there's something more powerful than I, an omnipresent being, but never like to where I'm at now. Haha, Captain Kirk. Vicky, thank you. Thank you very much. Teresa, I will. Thank you, Teresa. Miracles are real. Thank you, Web Surfer. I appreciate that. Sonia, I really do appreciate that. Believe me, if I'm out with a woman, I get more attention than she does. Caden, you know you do. He didn't realize late 17. He did not realize like 7 months. So he came home on my mom's birthday, which was June 5th. Not planned, like not planned at all. And I went down there. He got released at 11 a.m. And I went down there and, I said, "Do you want to go for a ride?" Just to get, because he's got his rollator, that thing with wheels in the seat. I bought him a rollator, this like wicked fucking good one. Just, I don't know why, just because I figured he needed the best one that I could buy. And so I got him in the car, and he tries to use what little strength he has, which he looks like a little kid. He looks like a fucking Muppet. He's so small and skinny. But we got in the car and we drove around. And as we were driving, he couldn't believe like just the little changes that happened in our small town, like a building not being there or this new business opening. And so no, he didn't. He does and he doesn't realize like the 7 month. It feels probably like a couple of months to him. Like he missed winter, and that's because cognitively he was gone 7 days after his surgery, and then came back in May, the beginning of May. So I got two really good ones that I want to get into in a second, but this is really fucking freaky. This one freaked me out when I was proofreading this. One night in March of 2020, in my home near Invergary, Scotland, I woke in the middle of the night at around 1 or 2 in the morning. I had an overwhelming feeling of fear that I couldn't shake. I felt like someone was in my home or something was wrong. I felt terrified. My first instinct was, oh my God, my kids. Then I noticed our bedroom was pitch black, which is very unusual. Normally, I have the TV on in our room all night with the volume down. I don't like to sleep without the TV on. So I sat up fast in my bed and went and grabbed the sky control from between me and my partner. This is where I always leave them, so I could get some light on in the room to see where I was going to get to the bath or to get to the bedroom light on. which was at the other end of the room. I wanted to check the house for intruders for peace of mind. I have weird feelings, or I can sense things sometimes when others don't. This has happened my entire life. Just as I grabbed the TV remote, everything changed, almost like a glitch. It was like I blinked and found myself lying down in bed again. But now I'm on my left-hand side facing toward my partner. But I couldn't see him. And I was in a room I didn't recognize. It was dimly lit, and the light was almost rose-colored. I could see details on the ceiling, or what I took to be the ceiling or roof. I tried to sit up again, but I was frozen. I couldn't move a thing. I could only move my eyes. I looked to my right, where I noticed a pale, sort of white-colored hand that had 4 very long, thin fingers above my head. Then the hand pulled away from me quickly. I freaked out. I tried to scream for my partner again, but I could not get any words out. More and more panic set in as I continuously attempted to scream. Then I looked toward my feet and I saw a small, thin humanoid with large black eyes staring at me. I couldn't see any clothing on it. The humanoid felt as if it was female, but that's just the feeling I got from it. This scared me even more. On seeing this being slash humanoid at my feet, I tried to scream more and louder, but I couldn't get a word out or move a muscle. Like before, I could only move my eyes. Then all I remember was opening my eyes again and seeing my partner back beside me in bed in my bedroom. I looked at the time and it was 6:15. I told my partner what I had just experienced. I also told my dad. They both felt maybe I was dreaming or maybe I had suffered sleep paralysis. I've experienced sleep paralysis a couple times as a child. This was not the same. This experience was different. The whole event felt real and very different. I've experienced weird things my whole life. I've been able to sense some things and others can't. I know that sounds mad, but it really felt real, and it was not a bad dream or sleep paralysis. I still see that room clear in my head. I remember all of the details of the ceiling slash roof. Thank you. What did I miss? What did I miss? Denny, I'm guessing something's wrong with your dad. I missed your comment, but your family is in my. Billy Carson is awesome. You must have heard him just on Joe Rogan then, Daryl. But I've been watching Bill Carson for a while. He's really good. He's very interesting. Yeah, we kicked the Yankees' ass last night too for 5 rings. Denny, your dad is in my prayers. I missed whatever is going out with your dad, on with your dad, but he is in my prayers, my friend. My dad is 74. Yeah, Billy's good. Billy's all right. You know, here's something that I found kind of fucked. He was repeating stuff that people have talked about thousands of times over. But his own theories are really good. I don't like when people regurgitate other people's theories and information and claim it as theirs. But other than that, I think he's all right. I mean, he's got some good theories. Thanks, Cowboy. I love this. I got this with Shackleneck. Me and Shackleneck got this. We got it at the Adirondack Bigfoot Festival. Denny, yes, definitely. Your dad is in my prayers. I just kind of getting over my own, so I can only feel your pain, my friend. Jeff, you know what the Bible is, right? It's a book that was written by men, and it tells us how we should live. That's my interpretation of the Bible. I believe that Jesus is our Savior, first and foremost. Floyd, what's going on? Suji, how are you? I didn't see you here. Daryl Williams, they do. They really do. And I don't like that. David Icke is great. I don't like how they use religion to separate people. It's like how they use politics, you know? I think that Jesus is the king. Jesus is, the one God that loves us with everything he has. And I think that's what people should know. But other than that, in my own interpretation, I don't need a book to tell me how to live, because God put free will into my body, just like everyone else, and morals. And if I live by a good moral compass and I pray, and I don't need to go to church, I can pray in the woods, I can pray at my house, that I will be saved either way, just as long as I do good things and live in a good manner. Like the 10 Commandments are just things that normal good people will follow anyway. Like nobody wants to fuck their neighbor's wife, like maybe, but I don't. Exactly. There's right and there's wrong, Jim Brunson, no, I can't use any of that. Anything that I have, I can't use. Skipping some ads. Hang on a second. Ugh. Joe, how are you, dear? I was just going to freaking email you after the live to make sure that you were okay. I'm glad that you're here with us. Thank you for popping in. I read this. This is a book that I've been reading. I've been reading this. Wow. Lily Lewis, thank you very much. Thank you for the love. So there's a school in Bath, Maine. And I had some friends that went to school there and such. And a friend that I knew there, his mom's kind of famous, turned me on to this book. And well, his dad's famous too. Turned me on to this book. It's a very interesting book. It's a theology book, but it talks about Jesus. And I've been reading this book since 1999. And it's very interesting. If you ever want to just check something very interesting out that may give you some very interesting whatever, check that out. No, I don't, Floyd. Atomic Punk, you know that, And then here's another book that's sitting right next to me is Time Travel, Fact or Fiction. Pups got me this book. Commander X is Bill Cooper, William Cooper, Milton William Cooper, time travel, fact or fiction. Book of the Month Club. I'm Oprah Winfrey. Alan Conley. What book is a great book? Alan, I missed. Yeah, I agree. I think any book is amazing. Like, well, not any book, but I love reading. I just love reading. I love a good read too. I mean, Penthouse Forum is all right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. But I think it's time for this. You know, speaking of Billy Carson, you know who he sounds like? The other day I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast popped on with him on it, and I normally don't. I was actually listening to Lex Friedman, and Lex's interview ended, and Joe popped on with Billy Carson, and I've listened to Billy Carson's podcast separately because I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan. But I thought it was Coleon Noir at first. I was like, where the fuck is Coleon getting this cool shit from? And then I was like, wait a second, that's Billy Carson. If you know who Coleon Noir is, doesn't Billy Carson and him sound very similar? What's going on, David Thompson? How are you? $20. It's $20. Keith, Cowboy's uncle, how are you, my friend? Glad that you're here with us. Christopher, how are you? I apologize for not saying hi. Randy, how are you? Margie, how are you, Margie? Jacob, I did, but like I said, this week I said at the very beginning, like my uploads were off, everything was off, so. My son's girlfriend is searching for her two friends at Rogers Rock Campground right now. Whoa, DJ Throggy, up in my neck of the woods. When did they go missing? All right, Jessica, I look forward to it. Jacob, I'm gonna sit down this week, and I've got a ton of people. Like I've got a guy from Kentucky that I feel bad that I've been putting off and stuff. Bob Skeleton, how are you? Andrea, how are you tonight? No, I'm not gonna put a kayak motor on my kayak. Nah. I have a Wilderness Systems kayak, the Pongo 105. I don't think it has a. It might. I know the 120 has a spot to put a motor on, but I'm more Rogers Rock. DJ. Literally 2 nights, no contact since they got lost on the way. So they're lost in the campground or they're lost on the way there. Let me look up Warren County Sheriff's Department really quick. Hang on 1 second, guys. There's actually been Bigfoot encounters up there. Going onto the website, the sheriff's website right now. They haven't called the police yet, have they, Throggy? I would have them contact Warren County Sheriff's Department if they haven't found them. Because they're only the sheriff's office, the main sheriff's barracks is 10 minutes from Rogers Rock. I grew up camping there. Actually, I didn't grow up camping there. I grew up hanging out with girls that camped there. Being a local, we didn't need to camp. We just went up there and hung out with the chicks. Yeah, boy. All right. Joe, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight. I was worried when I didn't see you here tonight. I was going to email you to make sure you were okay. Yeah, Warren County Sheriffs. They would contact rangers, or go right to the check-in station. I think it's past Memorial Day, so there should be a New York State Park Ranger located there right now. It's definitely, me and my friends used to go there. Shit, I can't say this. Yes, enough time has passed. Enough time has passed. Me and my friends used to go there, and we would sneak in, and we would hang out with these girls. We would meet girls and be like, "Yo, what's up? We're local. Hi, how are you?" And one night, my friend Sean grabbed a cooler. I have no idea why, and took off running with it. Right, and I'm like, "What the fuck is he doing?" So we all take off running, because we're getting chased now. And we get to behind his house. So, like, his house bordered Rogers Rock Park Campground. And we open the cooler, and it's literally full of alcohol. And we're like, whoa, cool. So, like, periodically we would go and get, like, chairs and tables, coolers, and grills. We were bad kids. We were actually little assholes. This account involves my Aunt Rose in Medford, Oregon. One day, she gets a knock at her door. It's two little girls dressed like Little House on the Prairie. And they've got an antique baby buggy with little dolls in it. My aunt asked the girls if they were okay, and they asked for a drink of water. My Aunt Rose asked if they wanted to come inside. They said no, but could they have a drink of water? So she goes back inside and grabs 2 bottles of water from the fridge, returns and gives them the bottle of water. The girls then proceed to guzzle the water like hungry wolves. My aunt turns from the baby buggy where she was doting on the dolls and sees them doing this, tells them they can have more water if they need to. And that surprises the girls greatly. They say okay and wander back down the long driveway from my aunt's house. She closes the door and then thinks, those girls could have been angels. She reopens the door and they're gone. Gone. Now, this is a long driveway, an eighth of a mile at least, quite unlike any other house on the street. She asked around the neighborhood after, and nobody had seen the little girls. I asked her if she knew what black-eyed kids were, and she said no. I asked if their eyes were normal, and she said no, they were all black. Wow. She was going to let the black-eyed kids in. William Ward, how are you? William! Where the fuck is freaking Wilbur? Wilbur! I'm doing well, Bill Ward. Doing well, Bill. I know I miss yelling at Wilbur. Wilburn! Fucking Theo Vaughn, my Theo Vaughn impersonation. Wilburn! Joe, you are all good. You are all good. You know that. You got my reply, my email reply, I hope. Yeah, Elsa Blue. I was thinking that. Like, it's weird. They asked to come in. She offers them, and they don't. They're like, no, you might try and touch our booters. George Coker, thank you for what? The hug I'm giving you? You like that little hug, George? Haha, that was a little touch of your booter. Never seen a black-eyed kid. Red-eyed kids. I don't know about the old-time outfits. That's kind of strange. Yeah, I've often wondered. Because some wear, like, dirty clothes. Some black-eyed kids wear, like, hoodies with some, like, real dirty, homeless-looking clothes. And then others are, like, dressed like they're fucking Amish or something. You know? It's weird. Caden, here's your hug, buddy. That was your butt's up here. Haha, buddy. Rockin' steady. Thank you. Thank you for being my friend. Guys, thank you for everything. You know, just thank you for hanging out with me on Saturdays. No. No. What's up, your drunk aunt? How are ya? Yeah, no, I was agreeing with you, 59th. I wasn't laughing at that. Oh, shit. Oh, the book's downstairs again. God damn it. God damn it. Daryl, are you heading out? Daryl, you're heading out? This is my brother Daryl. My other brother Daryl. I'm Larry. Larry, Daryl. What's up, Johnny? How are you? Thank you for coming tonight, Johnny Tree. I love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. I wear this shirt, because it's a baseball shirt, and I can show my awesome forearms. Donna Harmon, thank you for the love, dear. Alan Conley, have a good night. Don't let your meat loaf. It does have that suave faire look to it, doesn't it? Savoir faire is everywhere. Does anybody remember that cartoon? How many people remember that cartoon? Savoir faire is everywhere. Bill, I've done a shitload of encounters already, my friend. I'm going to keep going, but I don't need people telling me how about. Yeah, that cartoon was a classic. Rattlesnake, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. All right, this is one of them that I wanted to do that I want to keep them in order for you guys. This one is fucking weird, and you guys are going to love it because I absolutely did as well. Hang on. Ugh. God damn it. I thought after the old tee shot, they'd shrink a little bit, but nope. I was a kid when we first moved into the house on the edge of the forest. My parents had their doubts about buying this house with a backyard that bordered a forest. They had concerns about wild animals getting into our bins or hurting our dogs, and were worried one of us might go too far into the trees and get lost. But it was cheap, and my dad liked the seclusion. My mom loved the house itself, and my siblings and I were excited about playing in the backyard and exploring the forest. Our first sign that something wasn't right was that our dogs were absolutely terrified of this forest. They never went into the forest for any reason. If a toy they had been playing with was found its way into the tree line, they refused to retrieve it. And when one of us went in, they would pace anxiously until we returned. On one occasion, we'd noticed a dog staring at a spot in the forest in obvious distress, sometimes growling or barking, but we could never see anything there. My brother once carried one of the dogs. Fuck, I read this last week. God damn it. That wasn't the one. You guys just saw me have a fucking wig out. What's up, California? Here it is. Sorry. Okay. My abduction experience was on the 22nd of October in 1991 at approximately 7:45 p.m. The location was Red Rock, a small village surrounded by fields 3 miles from Wigan Town Center and a couple of miles from the start of moors near an area called Winter Hill, Lancaster. Fuck, I always say dumb shit when I talk English. As for the men in black, well, it's a bit more difficult. For some reason, I did not make a note of the date. I can't even remember the year. In fact, since my abduction, it's as if I am not supposed to remember. I believe it may have started in 93. The contact with the men in black I mentioned to you was not the first, but I feel it was the most important. I received a call out of the blue from a person purporting to be a student from a nearby university. He said that he had heard a lot about me and my experiences in UFOlogy. He and a friend of his were very interested in my story and they'd like to meet. He sounded genuine, so I said sure. For whatever reasons, they wanted to meet at the Wigan Northwestern Railway Station, an intercity link. All was duly organized, and a friend and I, there is no way I was going to meet them by myself, waited for their train to arrive. When the southbound unit arrived, only 5 people came out, 3 females and 2 large chaps. When my friend and I saw the blokes, we both exclaimed, "No way are we getting involved with them." It was obvious they were enormous, very tall, 6'6" at least, mean-looking, battle-worn, scarred faces in their mid-20s. I have never seen meaner-looking guys in my life. We kept a low profile and decided not to meet them. They left the rail station and we watched them head into town. Shortly after, my mobile rang and, you guessed it, it was one of them. He asked where we had got to and why we didn't meet them. I stumbled over my words for a moment, made a pathetic excuse, and told him I was on my way to their location to give me a minute or so, and we could have some coffee. He agreed, and we plucked up the courage, and with great trepidation, made our way to their location. We never got to have coffee, as they were very eager to get on. They stuck out like sore thumbs amongst the average shopper, so it was easy to find them. I'm 6 feet, and not easily frightened, but something about these two guys gave me the creeps. My friend never spoke throughout the introductions, and they almost completely ignored him. In fact, I got the impression they were not happy to see him. They gave me their first names, but I completely forgot them. One of them appeared to be more senior. He also appeared to be very dangerous. The other, slightly smaller guy seemed kinder, and at first hardly spoke and listened intently to his partner was asking me and my replies. They had no transport and asked me to take them to the areas where I had contact with the aliens and the UFOs. I told them that I had a car, and if they followed me, we could get in the car and make our way to the areas in question. Strange as it may seem, they both appeared a little worried at this, and for the first time since meeting them, I felt more relaxed and in control. We all got into my car and made the way to the first destination. They, in turn, bombarded me with questions, some related to my abduction and sighting experiences, but others about me personally and what my feelings were about the United Kingdom and my opinions as to what the aliens and UFOs wanted. Also, why I thought the aliens were visiting Earth. They took notes cautiously and also recorded our conversations on pocket recorders. It must be said that in their own way, they were quite friendly and courteous, but you could see that under the surface, they were dangerous individuals. I was also convinced that they were carrying firearms. I can't explain why I thought they were armed. It was just a feeling. On reaching the first location, they took charge, asking me to stand near the area of the sighting while they took photographs of me near the site. They were very thorough and never dropped their guard for a moment. They took a great deal of photographs. They also seemed very interested and at the same time a little bewildered. It was as if they were as baffled by the UFO phenomenon as I was. I also had the impression that they were lost. I know that sounds daft, but it was similar to a child who had gotten separated from a parent in a shopping predicament, utter bewilderment and loss. I started to become more confident and felt that perhaps it was because it was my car we were traveling in. I had some form of control over the situation. I genuinely sensed that they were both unhappy with this. We visited most of the locations in question and spent a number of hours together. I was almost hoarse after answering their questions, but felt I had to. On returning to Wigan Town Center, they thanked me and told me to be careful. Then the taller guy says, "Thanks. It's been very interesting, and we are quite happy with you. There is no problem. You won't hear from us again." I thought to myself, what a strange thing to say. What do you mean, happy with me? Anyway, I said, "Okay, it's been a pleasure. If you really need to see me again, feel free to call me." He then said, "No need. We got all the information we require. We'll catch our train now." It was then that I had the bright idea to offer them a lift back to their university. Their mood altered and they became edgy and nervous, but I insisted. They were very reluctantly agreed and told me to head north on M6. We got in the car and I deliberately drove like a demon. I felt that I was now in total control, and in the rearview mirror as we traveled at high speed up M6 motorway, I could see that they were getting more nervous. If it was because they were trapped in my car, I will never know, but they were not happy. As we approached Preston Link, one of them exclaimed that they could drop them off at Preston, as they had just remembered a meeting they had arranged. I reluctantly agreed, pulled up near Preston City Center, shook their powerful hands, and that was it. I had never heard from them or since. Later, summoning up a meeting, I felt that they were just two guys doing a job. For some strange reason, I felt sorry for them. I also rang a number of universities, and no one had ever heard of them. So I don't know why he called them Men in Black. I don't see Men in Black. I see like maybe like an English counterpart of MUFON, but I don't see Men in Black. I see dangerous people, and their questions and their responses were awful weird, but not cool. What's up, Mike? How are you? Mike Pedroza. Tigger? He's probably, let me see. Buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Buddy. He'll come. Just hopefully not on me. That was so dumb. What the fuck was that? I didn't get your email, Tommy, but your kitten is absolutely cute. Truth Quest, you are not blocked. I've been answering your questions and I've been responding to you. Am I blocked? Am I blocked? No, Truth Quest, you're not blocked. Oh, man. Oh, man. Good night, Victoria Victor, and God bless you. I have a cat named Tigger, too. He's an a-hole sometimes, but I love him. Heath, my cat is a fucking asshole, too. I love him to pieces, but he is the biggest douchebag ever. You're welcome, Truth Quest. I was just fucking with you. You know I love you. Am I blocked? God damn it. Give me some of your hair, dude. You have more than me, and it hurts my soul. I hate my hair. Cock blocked. Oh, buddy. Come on, bud. You fat cocksucker. Okay. Does anyone live in the United Kingdom right now? Can you guys, I have a question for the United Kingdom. It's on my right side, Daryl. It's on the right side. I can't right now, Joe. I can't right now because I'll mess up everything. What is you, ignorant? Okay, so I need to find out if in the United Kingdom they still sell mango jewel pods. Mango jewel pods. Peter Parsons, what's going on? I need mango jewel pods. Please and thank you. Buddy! Come here. Hi, buddy. Tigger's here. Come here. Hey, come here. Oh, come here. Oh. What are you doing, buddy? What is up, buddy? Buddy. There he is. Oh. Good boy. Yeah, our mascot came to hang out, huh? Yeah. Good boy. Say hi, everybody. Say hi. Say, I love you all. I love you all. Alan Howell, thank you, my brother. Good boy. Oh, yeah. Okay, here. Good boy. Good boy. I know. That's exactly what he's saying. So, mango jewel pods. What's a mango jewel pod? A jewel. A jewel. I need mango ones because the United States doesn't sell them. He is not fat. He is not fat at all. He is just big. He is huge.
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
That one was good. We have mango flavor. California, you have mango jewel pods in California? Yeah, Tigger. Okay, Tigger is, you can check out. No, you can't. They don't sell jewel pods on Amazon. Nope. All right, California, email me. I'll send you some money. You send me the jewel pods. We'll like play like we're milking a cow, baby. Whoa, that looked weird. I did not like how that looked. That was fucked up looking. That was so weird, dude. I did. Nino, are you in Canada? That's what I'm saying, Peter Parsons. I got double pumped, baby. Fuck. I haven't been doing the Zen in a while. I've been doing my snuff though. That there those places, Sonia, are like fake ones. You've got to do some really pay with PayPal or not PayPal. You've got to pay with your credit card or with Bitcoin, and there's just weird. The majority of them are fake. Otherwise, I'd have them. I've gotten ripped off a few times. I just need mango jewel pods. I need them. But anyway, so Tigger, all Maine Coon cats for some reason are fucking jerks, but they talk a lot. Like Tigger talks a ton, and then he'll fuck me up just for fun. Yeah, nicotine ones. Tiggy loves you, Donna. A little bit, two-way, a little bit. All right, here we go. Ooh, this one's good. This one's a little bit different. Just a little bit. I came here for the kitty. Uh, Four children were playing in a barn when they came across an unknown creature. Four children were left hysterical after an unknown creature in an abandoned and haunted barn lunged toward them. In May of 1951, the children went to play in one of the old deserted barns that once stood on Robbie Carr's Lane. Dozens of locals recalled the rumors about a terrifying thing which would leave the dilapidated barn after dark and roam Robbie and parts of Houghton in present-day metropolitan borough of Knowsley, Merseyside, England. But despite their parents' warning of this old structure falling on them, raw sleepers living in the former building and hearing strange noises about the place from other children, they still decided to explore the haunted barn. The creature, described as having dark brown, shiny skin, an insect-like shell on its back, and two huge red eyes when it stood, it was over 6 feet in height. In May of 51, a gang of four kids, Tony, age 8, Jill, 7, Alan, and George, both 10, went to play in one of the old deserted barns. George's parents had warned him about playing in the dilapidated old houses, telling him the places could fall in on them and tramps live in the former buildings. They may attack and even kill them. But George, being disobedient lad, was the one that suggested exploring the old place. He had heard strange stories from friends. One boy told George the barn was used as an air raid shelter during the war. The four children ran down Roby Road onto Carr Lane, all led by George, the self-appointed leader. They reached the deserted barn, and being typical English May afternoon, it began to rain. The sound of rainfall on the tiles scared the youngest gang member, Jill. George had a box of matches and told everyone he would find anything he could burn and make a fire. "This can now be our new den," he said, striking a Swan Vista match. "I found a candle," said the excited Alan. He picked up a 3-inch stub of candle and handed it to George, who gently pulled the blackened wick out slightly, then lit it. A small fire made the splintered wooden drawer newspapers, dry leaves, and twigs was lit, and now by the light of the candle in the fire, the gang noticed strange graffiti on one of the walls. There, what looked like charcoal sketches of people in possibly the 30s and 40s, clothes and hairstyles, and a number of head and shoulder portraits. The sketches were quite good, and the artist was undoubtedly talented. The children were not aware that the drawings on the wall had been made in the war years when people gathered in the barn, which served as sort of an air raid shelter, the artist unknown, but he or she might be the same artist who painted very similar portraits of people in the 40s in the paint on the walls of the air raid shelter under Wavertree Park on Edge Lane. The artistic style was later described as being very similar to the Roby artwork. On the same wall as the charcoal drawing, there was a very creepy sketch of some unearthly creature with huge round eyes, pointed ears like a cat, a massive mouth ringed with pointed teeth, and long, spindly arms and legs. The thing had a pointed tail reminiscent of a wasp's stinger. The next to its alarming life-size drawing were strange symbols and glyphs, like a coded message, and then a large block letter word, "keep out." Jill did not like that drawing of the monster one bit and said they should leave the place. "That's the boogeyman who eats kids," George told Jill, and he winked at Alan, who realized his friend was telling a fib to scare the girl. All of a sudden, the children heard the low moaning sound, and something came into the room on all fours from a hole in the wall. At first, the gang thought it was a dog, but as it came within a purlieu of the illumination given off by the fire, the children saw that it was no dog. It was the thing depicted on the wall. It had dark brown, shiny skin, an insect-like shell on its back, and two huge eyes that George later described as looking like belly buttons and a large gaping fanged mouth. It stood up and was well over 6 feet in height. It lunged at the kids with long, spindly arms and clawed hands. They screamed and fled the barn. The gang narrowly missed being run down as they ran blind across the road. They all went to Jill's house on Station Road, and the girl's mother was furious when she saw that her daughter had wet herself. Jill, so hysterical, couldn't tell her parents what happened. And when George told the girl's mother and father about the monster, they didn't believe him. I mentioned this incident on a show years ago, and lots of people contacted me. They recalled the barn on Carr Lane with the weird drawings, and most maintained that it had been demolished in the 60s. George, we all do need hugs, my friend. You are absolutely right. That story was creepy as hell. Any correlation between... I'm not sure here, Drunk Ant, but that's a really good question. That's a really good question. Pretend to bring mango jewel pods. We should all sign it. Absolutely, Lily. Absolutely. Email me that petition. There was a experience that I shared. It came out of the Appalachian region. And I talked about it probably a year ago. This family, so the wife, I think it was the wife's family that lived in the Appalachian region. They were very poor. And the husband hated going to the wife's family because he was not well-to-do, but middle class. And apparently there had been a death in the family. Well, they had one kid, and being from kind of like upper middle class, the husband and the little boy were put off when they went to the wife's / mom's family's home. It was kind of like in a hollow or holler, and was kind of like it wasn't a dirt floor, but it was like a 4 kind of roomed house, probably 4 or 5 houses around it that were all kin. And there was a family cemetery on the land. Well, they had buried the family member one day, and that's why they had gone there. And being that it was late, they didn't want to drive home. The husband really didn't want to spend the night, but they ended up spending the night. And he was awoken by this weird sound. When he looked out the window, he saw this large kind of insectoid-like creature. It was human-like, but it had like a beetle appearance to it. Just a really strange kind of whatever. And it was near the fresh grave. The next morning, they get up, and the grave had been dug up, and the body was gone. And he ended up telling the family about it, and they left. But it was a weird just a weird experience. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely, and he never went back, he just never went back. It was, I don't know, it's just one of those weird, during the 7 years that I've had this channel, 7 years, yeah. There's a few experiences that stuck in my head, and that being one of them. That really just, yeah, exactly. Why would you go back? This is an interesting one. I've shared this experience a million times, but I figured I'd share it one more time. It happened to my dad's best friend. He's a friendly, down to earth sort of guy. I've never heard him talk about anything paranormal before or since he shared this. So, my dad's friend was driving from York, Pennsylvania to Harrisburg on Old York Road. He was taking a back road bordered on both sides by super tall pine trees and spruce. It was dusk, the type of dusk right before it gets completely dark, and even with headlights, things are hard to see. As he's driving up ahead, he saw what he initially thought was a child walking in the center of the road. It had its back towards him, so he sped up to get closer, and as he neared it, he noticed the child had a weird lurching walk, as if one of its legs had been twisted or injured. Its arms were brought up in front of it, almost the way a kangaroo holds its arm when it hops. When my dad's friend was neck and neck with it, he immediately realized that this was not a child, but some sort of creature covered in thick red hair or fur. The creature did not stop or turn or even seem to acknowledge the car. It kept going in that weird lurching motion. By this point, it's completely dark, no other cars passing during the whole incident. My dad's friend is completely freaked out. He said it felt wrong, like everything felt so wrong, and his instincts told him to go. So he slammed his foot on the accelerator and sped out of there. I was pretty young when he told me and my family this. I think he said it happened in the late 80s. And I remember I had nightmares for weeks afterward. Unknown creatures like that really scared me. Ghosts are one thing, but any kind of creepy cryptid type thing is quite another. I'm always hyper aware whenever I'm out driving on back roads in the middle of nowhere and at night now. Jimmy Fields, I'm glad you're here with us, my friend. Glad you are here. What's up, Steve-O? You can go. I had to let Tigger out. I had to let the old Tigger out. Ooh. This one's a bit on the strange side. A bit on the strange side, I would say. Okay. A young man spotted this animal or creature. He's going to be a senior in high school next year. He's an avid hunter and fisherman. He is not someone who believes in the paranormal. However, he cannot help what he saw. I found him to be incredibly friendly and very honest. Cameron, 18 years old, was driving on Rains Road in West Frankfort on Friday night at approximately 9:30 p.m. with his friend Michael. Like most teenage boys, the two were just talking and joking around. This is a road they have traveled many times. Cameron stated, "I saw something that I never thought I would see in a million years. It was unbelievable. I was so shocked that I didn't speak aloud until we got to town. Michael saw it as well. He remained silent. Our brains just couldn't comprehend what we had seen." Cameron and Michael were traveling in Cameron's vehicle while he had his brights on. The pair report seeing an unidentified creature they had never seen before in their lives. They both said the animal was on their right. They were in such shock. They just stared as they drove by. It was tall, thin, then took a few steps backward into the darkness. He continued, "I don't want to sound crazy, but we both discussed what we saw and we didn't want to believe it. It was 6'10", 7 feet tall. Although I don't want to say animal because I have hunted in 4 different states and I have never seen anything like this before. I've hunted a lot in Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, and Alabama, and I've never seen anything like it. It was built oddly. It was slender, but its muscle tone was crazy. It seemed to be hairless, standing on 2 legs. When asked Cameron what he believes he and his friend saw that night, the pair do not know what they saw. However, several individuals reached out to tell Cameron about an undefiniable, oh my God, creature they had seen. Many of the people who reached out to Cameron mentioned seeing similar animals in Benton, Illinois. Many people came forward stating that they had seen the similar creature on Route 37 in different counties nearby. Cameron said the closest thing he found to this creature was a Dogman, a mythical creature I know, he said. He stated it was the closest as far as appearance. However, the creature he saw did not have a tail and was hairless. He also reiterates on how odd it was built. When Cam came forward and told residents about his sighting, obviously many people did not believe him. He understands that it is hard to believe. He is still in shock that he saw this creature today. He is going to look for footprints in the area where he saw the creature to get more answers. I just don't know anyone. I just don't want anyone to think I'm doing this as a joke or anything like that. I know what I saw, and it was something I've never seen before in my life. I think someone sees something like this, they should report it. He's using his real name in hopes people understand that he's not trying to pull one over on anyone. He's sharing what he's seen. I am not afraid to admit that while speaking to Cameron, I believe he did see this creature. I believe he saw something that he and Michael have never seen before. I would like to know what they saw. The pair were stunned and speechless and only saw the creature for 2 to 3 seconds before it stepped backward into the wooded darkness. They did not have time to take a photo, nor were they thinking about taking a photo. So they saw a hairless Dogman creature, but interestingly enough, people in Illinois have spotted this creature before in Benton, Illinois. William Menendez, how are you, my friend? Alzilla, how are you? Yeah, I know right where Benton is. What the fuck is going on with my Juul? It's not empty. It's not full either. It's half full. Maybe a chupacabra, maybe, but it was standing bipedally, so I don't know. William Menendez, as far as regenerating themselves, no, I don't believe so. But that's my own opinion. I don't believe dogmen can rejuvenate. There is a woman that lives in South Carolina, former sheriff. She's now animal control. And she has been researching Bigfoot and Dogman for quite some time. She believes that kudzu has some sort of healing factor that dogmen may use as a way of healing up wounds and stuff. As many of you know, kudzu is not native to America. It's a Chinese plant. And in South Carolina, where she lives, she has spotted dogmen using large groves of kudzu to walk through and to tunnel through. Giant Slayer, how are you? A chupacabra, truth in Christ. A chupacabra there's two versions of the chupacabra, okay? In the Central America, South America, Puerto Rico version, it's a reptilian-like creature. Chupacabra means goat sucker. And it has this reptilian kind of look, a long tail. But then in America, we have our own version, and it's canine-like. It looks almost like it has mange, and it resembles the thylacine. Now, Forrest Gallant, or Gallant, however you want to say his name, who is I think he's an anthropologist. He works with animals. He discovers rare and endangered animals. He believes that a breeding pair of thylacine crashed off the coast of North Carolina, and because of geographical evolution, just meaning that Tasmania is different than America, that their bodies changed, and that is what people see as the chupacabra now. Yes, Robert Sharp, Nicole Clark. That is Robert Sharp. But if you look up truth in Christ, if you look up Forrest Gallant, just type in like Forrest Gallant on YouTube search bar, chupacabra, Forrest Gallant chupacabra. His explanation is probably one of the greatest explanations I have ever heard for the explanation. Well, the only explanation that I've ever heard that I agree with. It makes a lot of sense. Because even though people don't like that word evolution, geographic evolution happens. Like, we change. You put me from upstate New York, put me in Florida for 6 years, my skin tone is going to change. My body's going to change. People's bodies and animals' bodies change from wherever they may live geographically. Yes. I think there's one more R in Forest. Hi, Lisa Smith. How are you? I agree with you, 59th. I agree with you. It's just a weird, people don't like that word evolution. And, you don't have to apply it to everything, but geographically, things in social evolution, things change. And there's only one word for it. This is a very interesting one. And funny enough, that guy that seen that red creature had seen it in York County, PA. So check this out. This is interesting. I think you guys will like this one. Back in 1995, a friend connected. Back in 95, a friend connected to the dark side, unbeknownst to me, suggested I go fishing in a pond in southern York County, PA. It is a summer day around June, and I found the place. When I get there, I find about 10 people fishing. Soon it begins to get dark and everybody leaves. Being the determined fisherman that I am, I stayed. As dawn begins to turn, a car pulls up. Out of the car, two girls dressed in long dresses resembling hippies get out. The car is a late model 70s. I continue to fish with utter determination. As time passes, it goes from dawn to dark. The girls get up, get in their car, and leave. A few minutes later, I get this weird feeling like I'm being watched on my right side. I shrug it off and continue to fish. 15 minutes later, I feel the feeling of being watched intensifies. It progresses to the point that I'm starting to get scared for my life. As a former Marine, I said to hell with it and tried to ignore the sensation. Soon I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to play it cool and hurriedly gathered my things. I ran like the devil was after me. Now here's the fun part. I spent 1.5 years in the Gulf War, slept with God knows what, and have been afraid for my life many times due to the warlike conditions. But that day I truly felt like hadn't I left, I may have died. After a week or so, I got to visit my friend and explained what happened. He stops me in my tracks to tell me the girls before the feeling were ghosts. Naturally, I think he's messing with me. He then begins to tell me about the Ramire Hollow. I again doubted him. He pulls his copy of The Long Lost Friend, the book of Ramire has allegedly killed for it. It is about this time I realize there is something to the story. So I go to the library downtown and sure enough, learn all about Ramire, Rehmeyer, if you want to look it up, guys. Okay, get ready. I had previous knowledge about Ramire's Hollow. You would logically say there were prior conditions to create this whole thing in my mind. But wait, I was born in Puerto Rico and I had never heard of Ramire until that very moment. Now, you tell me, an ex-Marine who slept yards from the enemy, who slept in the dark hearing things, I don't get scared easily. I will not tell anyone that I heard, saw, or felt anything. Quite the contrary. I didn't see, hear, or feel anything yet. That day, I felt I had not left hurriedly. I would be dead. I can't explain it. It was just a feeling. I'll tell you what, that place is for real. I visited the place again for trout fishing and cannot stay there long. Something is lurking and watching. So, who were the girls? My dad says they were angels looking out for me. The strange thing, looking back, is that these girls acted very strangely. I swear they floated out of there. It wasn't obvious at first, but in retrospect, they were not human. Who's this buddy of mine who tells me of this place? None other than York's own creepy and strange author, Brian Keene. We shared some interests at the time, mostly music and work. I have other interesting stories about Mr. Keene, but that's beyond this story. I do believe Ramire was killed for that book, The Long Lost Friend. Then again, was he really killed? According to some, he came back and opened the 7 gates of hell here in York. Anyway, I want everyone to know that this place is for real. Stay far away from Ramire. My grandmother did her last snuff at 93. Wait, George, your grandmother snuffed tobacco? That's crazy. Yeah, silver is going up, Steve-O. Silver is going up. Everyone should buy silver right now. Silver is the ticket. Chicken and biscuit with garlic herb cream cheese. Ooh. I can't eat that. I'm on a diet right now. I have literally been eating tuna fish for the last freaking week. That's it. Tuna fish. Libra, how are you, dearie? My great grandmother chewed tobacco. Gold, silver is the way. Gold is valuable as hell, but silver for the price and the way it's going up is just amazing. Yeah, Punk. I was thinking that too. Always a Marine. Once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. What's up, Fire Horse? How are you? Corey Cole, what's going on? Jay, you getting high as a kite? No, I don't get high, brother. I'm smoking a Jewel. My grandma. No shit. Granny did some snuff on the res. Dude, I love snuff. Corey Cole is. Struggling. Jeff, mom isn't doing well. Oh, man. Firehorse, your mom is in my prayers. God bless. God bless. That's crazy. Hang on one second. I want to get something I want to show you. So this is my snuff. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is the snuff that I have. It's called McChrystal's snuff. And it's from England. It comes in this little canister, right? And it's tobacco. And I just take this little piping spoon and then woo! There we go. And it's Sicilian Burst is the name of it. Sicilian Burst. I didn't know snuff was created for women. No shit. It's I like this. It's McChrystals. This little thing costs like $1.89. Yes, I'm not a financial advisor, everybody, but buy silver. Does it burn? A little bit. A little bit. It does burn a little bit. Libra, how are you? I don't know if you heard me say hi. Do a big ass line. No. Then I'll have to, my nose will get fucking all fucked up. Yeah, but no, truth in Christ. We're just saying, like, we've on this channel, like, we've always, since we started this live, well, actually, I've had a lot of different subscribers. Just I started buying silver when it was like 1780 something, and now it's like 30 something, and I've got like ingots and shit. Jacob Hillard, you used to do snuff? Say hello to my little friend. Physical versus digital gold and silver versus crypto. I think that you should always have physical silver at hand. Always. You should always have physical silver. And gold, but gold is more pricey. Silver is just, in my eyes, just as valuable. Like when the world does come to a point of where shit is going to be shit. Tina Marie, how are you? I think that we should all have silver, but crypto's fun. It's awful pricey. I mean, I just mess around with meme coins, but exactly, Caden. Brass and lead, copper. I was reading copper is very good. You can buy ingots of copper as well. Good stuff, Lily. Good stuff. That's why I'll buy something silver if I like it. I'll buy it because I know it's going to be valuable. Like if I can buy like a silver necklace, that's real silver, of course. In the long run, it's going to be worth something and I can just melt it down. Pups, you can usually get it at like a pawn shop or online. I get my silver. I myself buy my silver at this place called Money Metals, I think it's called. Money Metals. Yeah, moneymetals.com is where I get my silver if I buy it. Oh, thank you, pups. Thank you for wishing my mom a happy birthday. Copper wire. Hell yeah. Yeah. All right. Check this out. This is a good one. Wow. We've been going for 2 hours. Someone moved the fucking, the cone from across the street. Someone put the cone was across the street and someone moved it. $20. It's $20. Okay. So, what I saw on this day changed my life, and I have never made an official report until today. Around midday in the spring of 2001, I left my home to attend college class. We lived down a single-lane dirt road in the outskirts of Mobile, Alabama, near a large water reservoir called Big Creek Lake. I had the windows of my car down as it was a beautiful day. The radio was off and I was driving slowly because of being on the dirt road. I had heard strange noises from overhead coming toward me, and it piqued my curiosity enough to stop the car and see what it was. We lived near Coast Guard base, so helicopters and other small planes were not unusual to see. But when I heard that noise again, I realized it was unlike anything I had ever heard. As I leaned my head out the open window, a shadow covered my car and the entire road. Above was the underside of a dark gray, leathery creature whose sleek, muscular body carried 2 enormous, bony wings. As it soared over me at a very low height, just above the tree line, the body came to a point. I am unsure if there was a tail or legs arranged linearly. In an instant, the shadow was gone. All sight of this creature was lost due to the surrounding trees, but I heard the noise again. That is when I realized what it was, the sound of the air being moved by those gigantic wings. I heard the wings flap a couple more times in what seemed like an impossible wait time between. Then nothing. I sat in disbelief. My life has never been the same. I believe that anything is possible in this weird world. I know what I saw, and I will never forget it. These things are real. What I saw that day was a pterosaur. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Banana bread with butter is yummy. Ooh, yeah. I like banana bread. I will post your bond if need be. Ha ha ha, George, that's funny shit, brother. Okay, here's a question. And this is honestly a realistic question. I hope that I want you guys to maple butter is delicious. Oh my God. I live right next to Vermont and we get maple butter every fall. I smear it on my nipples. No, I'm just kidding. But I love it. I love it a lot. When are you going to start inviting us to the live? I don't know what that means. Like doing call-ins and stuff. That might take a lot of time up. So I'm not sure how to go about it. I'd have to figure it out and limit the time because I'd be doing stories and then people would want to talk and such. So I don't know. I think it'd be neat, but it would be difficult to control. And I think people would feel left out. So I probably won't for a while. So anyway, here's the question. Does anybody believe that, and I'm not talking about full-on Tyrannosaurus, Allosaurus, or Stegosaurus, huge dinosaurs, but does anyone believe it possible for like a pterodactyl, a pterosaur, or something smaller like a raptor to survive? Minus the cloning, night vision. Take the cloning out. I mean, survive. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've all heard the stories, but I'm saying who really believes it? I'm not bringing up like, there's obviously the stories, but yes. Okay, so where would these creatures live? Caves? Caves make the most sense. Volcano tunnels, like volcanic tunnels, old mine shafts. Here's something I want you guys to think about, though. So check this out. Yeah, Antarctica, Australia, such, yes. But here's something I want you guys to think about. Why is the military take away the wording of it, but why is the military so involved in guarding abandoned precious metal mines? And why are these mines abandoned when there still is precious metal in them? I really think that part of these mines, like they've dug deep and connected to shafts and stuff, that these reptilian forms have come out. Hi, Liz. How are you? Never heard of that in the Headless Valley. No, Steve-O. Yeah, Mariah, the military, including the mines that are not in America, The military is guarding these mines like nobody's business. Here's the thing that I want you guys to think about too, is Steph, who's not here tonight, Steph talked about that precious metal mine that was in Canada, okay? And there was a strange creature that had come out of that mine, right? I think that these creatures are attracted to these metals, not like in the Godzilla way, but some sort of power, you know? Shari Strong, have a good night. There's a movie called Dinosaurs vs. Cowboys. That's cool. Nino is a sexy MFer. All right, last question before we get into another encounter. Does anybody want more of the Phil Schneider, Bill Cooper information shared on the channel? Do you guys like that stuff when I do it? Thanks, Bobby. Okay. All right. So I've got a ton of it. I only ask because I have a ton of it. And I did hook up with a gentleman who used to be the cartoonist for Bill Cooper in his newspaper, The Veritas. So I got a ton of it. Let's jump into an encounter out of South Central Maine. 7 years ago, I had a disturbing experience that still bothers me. I was bushwhacking in South Central Maine when this happened. After 3 hours of constant uphill hiking, I took a break. I pulled out some snacks and a book and settled down in a nice rock and saw a really pretty stream with a small waterfall. I wandered in that direction, picking blueberries like it was nobody's business. I came to the stream, washed some of the sweet stuff off, and I noticed some small drops of blood on the stones by the bank. They were still shiny, so they must have been pretty fresh. I also saw that there were a clear trail of drops and a pretty easy to find trail. I grabbed my pack and followed it, noticing that the drops were getting larger and there were more of them. Eventually, I found the spot where all of the ferns had been matted down with lots of blood. I decided to quickly get out of there and tell the authorities what I'd seen. After another few hours of hiking, I was setting up my hammock when I heard a lot of rustling. I turned and I saw a deer with a massive slash mark down its side. It was very weak and could barely stumble along. It got spooked when I turned around, bolted, then collapsed 600 yards down this hill. I thought nothing of it, probably just a bobcat or something. The next morning, I found the deer, but all of its organs had been neatly arranged next to its body with a super clean, almost surgical cut down its side where the huge scratch mark was. To this day, I am not sure if it was a hunter with some good crazy cleaning skill or something else. Even more disturbing is nothing touched the surrounding organs. No animal tracks or evidence of nibbling. I don't want to know why or how, but I am still very confused and worried about why nothing was eating the deer, especially since it had been there for several hours. That was creepy. That was creepy. Oh, thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. Yeah, pups. Yep. I did a video a couple days ago on that. That was very interesting. The news, actually, it was like a month ago when they did it. It was cool. Because my daughter, who's on TikTok, my youngest, connected me with the kid Angel. And I had spoken to him back when it happened and did a video with that too. I don't know if you guys remember it or not, but yeah. All right. One last encounter to end the night with. My mom owns a salon in Philadelphia, suburb of Pennsylvania. I've been working for her since she opened, and I am usually with her Wednesday through Saturday. Every Saturday, we have an older woman come in. We will call her Ethel. Ethel usually washes her own hair and sets it, then comes in to have it teased. It's literally a $4 service and seems weird that she is there every week for the same thing. I have never gotten a weird vibe from her, and I have spent years talking to this woman. A few years ago, I left work early with her closing up that day. I felt safe knowing Mom had only one more client and it would be no big deal. She's only there for 10 minutes max. As I get home, I get a call from my mom. She's shaken. She goes on to tell me that she was doing Ethel's hair. Then she uncharacteristic turned around and looked at my mom. When her eyes met my mom's, they were completely black, no whites at all. She slowly turned back around, and as mom looked into the mirror, her eyes were normal again. It hasn't happened again. If there was a first time, I hadn't heard of it. And I honestly dismissed it for the most part until I came across Black Eyed Kids. All right, we're going to do one more of that. One more. One more. One more. Okay. Larry Lindman, thank you so much, brother. Holy shit. Appreciate you. I hope work's going good. This happened about, you know what? I'm not even going to end it because Larry just got me going. Thank you, Larry. Ethel! Good night, Jen Cox. All right. Okay, this is really weird. My best friend told me a story about a similar encounter she had, but in Everett, Washington, 26 miles north of Seattle. This happened in the 90s when we were still in high school. She said she was driving home from her boyfriend's house early in the morning, 2 or 3, when she saw a young man in the middle of the road wearing an oversized hoodie with the hood up, his arms outstretched like he was walking a tightrope on the yellow line. She slowed down because she did not want to hit him. She thought he was drunk or on something or just goofing off. The closer she got to him, the sicker she felt. A sense of dread overcame her. When she drove past him, he lifted his head and looked right at her. She said that his eyes were completely black, his skin white and waxy. He smiled creepily at her. She felt pure evil radiating from him. Still gives me chills thinking about it. This happened about a year ago. I was going to work alone. It was 4 a.m. No one was in the parking lot but me. So I'm about to get out of my car and head into the building. But first, I bend down to get my cell phone charger. When I look up, a teenage girl is at my driver's side window and a small boy on the passenger side. The girl's wearing a tank top and has really pale skin and stringy blonde hair. The little boy had his hair shaved off. She says, "Excuse me, sir. We need a ride down the block to my mom's house. If we walk, she will be angry." Now, the boy looks emotionless and unblinking. I get a weird feeling in my stomach saying, "Don't do it." And I say, "I need to go to work, but here's some money for a taxi." She says, "We don't want your money. We want a ride." I blink and look down at my phone as it suddenly rang, then hung up. The kid's eyes were black as night. My heart's pounding. I think, crap, these kids are the ones that people are talking about, the ones that kill people. I say with some authority, "No, you take the money and go away." As I reach for some ones in the ashtray, I look up and the kids are gone. Now it's a pretty large parking lot. I would have seen them run off. I even drove around the parking lot in the building. Guess what? No kids. Even drove around the empty block they claim to live on. No one lives there. Needless to say, I waited until the sun went up to walk into work that day. My great uncle owns a lot of land in northern Saskatchewan, Canada. Some of this pasture he uses for cattle, but half of one is the largest property is fenced off and the cows can't go there. In the sectioned off lactose free zone, the entire place is densely packed with foliage. The ground itself is blotted with some small steep hills toward the entrance to the property. There is one main dirt road that goes from Texas Gate to the entrance all the way back to the furthest side of the property. Coming off the road in a hilly area, we have a camp. The camp consists of an ATCO trailer. We've always had lots of wildlife, big cat, bear, that could harm people. I actually had to put down a bear that came into our camp and was far too comfortable with people not too long after. I learned to recognize the sounds and sights around me. While cautious, I'm very rarely afraid of anything out there. Regardless of the seemingly lack of disturbances, we always were careful at night, making sure to have a bright light and keep looking out for anything. After the first week, we began hearing noises around camp very late at night that would drive the dog insane all night, to the point we had to keep her inside. It almost felt like whatever it was probing and checking out our camp nightly, but always staying far enough away to hidden enough that we couldn't see it with our spotlights. Then one night, I left my mother's camper a couple hours after daylight had disappeared with a lantern-styled LED light. I didn't have anything to defend myself, no gun, bear spray, not even a knife. So I was a little bit more cautious and observant than usual, given being more vulnerable. As I walked from the exit of my mom's camper, I looked around for a minute, scanning the tree line. I then began to loop around to my door. I panned as I walked from right to left from the entrance to the fire pit, then to the table. It was there, just behind the table, not 20 feet away, that I saw a naked, extremely pale, almost gray, lanky figure standing still directly facing me. As it caught my gaze, I felt my heart drop and immediately went cold. I probably only stared for 3 seconds, but it felt like an eternity as my brain was trying to process whatever this thing was. It stood somewhere between 6.5 to 7.5 feet tall, with a low, slumped shoulders, frail, thin body, reminded me of photos of the Holocaust. I ran like my life depended on it. The last few feet to my door, once inside, I grabbed my shotgun, stuffed several shells in my pocket, loaded the shotgun, and aimed at the door. I sat in silence with a hammer and walked back, waiting to the doorknob to turn or the frosted glass to break. I sat and waited for hours until the early morning. expecting to hear or see something, but I never did. Not even any foliage moving or items moving. Eventually, at around 4 a.m., I lowered my guard, propped my shotgun up next to my bed, and hesitantly went to sleep. When I awoke, I hardly believed what I saw the night before. I was around that area to see if there was any shapes or items that I could have mistaken, and wrapped my head. I'm not really sure what I saw, but I know it wasn't human. The photos and drawings of these crawlers remind me of a great deal of what I saw. So I thought I would share this with you all. Thank you. I don't want to see a crawler. Hi, Belle. Yeah, no to crawlers. Definitely not. Zachary, love you too, baby girl. Bye-bye. Zachary, I actually thought about that, and I have a really good theory about a couple of things, which tomorrow will be in tomorrow's upload. But are crawlers reptilian, or are they a genetic creation from the reptilian agenda under Dulce and all these under Archuleta Mesa and other areas? I truly believe that crawlers are a genetic creation. I think that the aliens created these creatures that as like a guard for the outskirts of these areas. And I don't think that. I think they were created to be expendable. If they were to be killed, that it wouldn't matter, they almost do feel like they're expendable, if that makes sense or not, I don't know. But that's just my thought. Yeah, Dulce is very creepy. There's a very large similarity to where Andrew Dawson went missing up in Canada. That radio station, the radio tower, and the Archuleta Mesa's tower. So all right. I am going to bed. I love you guys. It's 2:30 in the morning. I want to thank you all for hanging. You know what? Here, let's do one last encounter for the night. You want to do one last encounter? All right. Last encounter of the night. No cap. What's going on? I didn't see you there. Sorry, buddy. Last encounter. I was born and raised in the plains of Texas, specifically in an area where black-eyed kid sightings were prevalent. I had heard stories, tales, legends, whatever you want to call them, since I was a young man, but never truly believed in them. The black-eyed kids were mainly something I entertained as a joke or something to get a rise out of people. This all changed the summer of 2009. It was a warm night in June. I was up late, maybe 2 a.m., as I typically like to stay up late, especially in the summer, since it would stay fairly warm even after the sun went down. I'd just run out to the store to grab a large fountain drink, returning to my house through the back door when I was approached by two children, a boy and a girl. I was very startled once I realized that they were there, since I wasn't expecting to encounter anyone in my backyard so late. The little boy asked, "Could we come in? We need to use your phone. We're lost." This is when I noticed the blackness in their eyes. Both of them had eyes so black they were like pits. This is also when my heart sank. I couldn't believe I was actually seeing these things, that they were right there in front of me. As I mentioned before, I had heard the legends of black-eyed kids most of my life, so there was no way I was going to let them in my house. I darted through the back door and locked it as quickly as I could. Once inside, I ran upstairs, flipping on the lights and trying to see if they were still outside. Thankfully, by then they were gone. I had so much adrenaline pumping by that point that I grabbed a weapon and began searching the house, making sure all the doors and windows were locked. It took me a few hours to get to sleep that night, and this encounter will stay with me for the rest of my life. These entities took the form of something most people view as innocent, weak, mild, and try to trick unsuspecting people to do God knows what to them. I am just glad my reflexes kicked in and I was able to live to share this. The boy was wearing a black jacket and shorts with a white t-shirt. The little girl was wearing a black dress with white socks. I don't remember hairstyle specifically, but their overall appearance was dark. It was dark outside as well, so I think both of their hair colors were black. Good observation right there. Good observation right there. Because we always ask, what are these things? What are black-eyed kids? Well, there's a reason why they are children. Because regardless of who you are, children are innocent. A little kid walks up to your door, providing you don't see the little fucker's eyes in their jet black and give them that, you're going to let him in. And then you're fucked. So are they demons? I really think they are more demonic than anything else. That's just my opinion. And my opinion doesn't matter. Your guys's do. And with that, I love you all. Thank you for spending Saturday night with me. I hope to see you guys next Saturday. Like I said, tomorrow's upload is going to be me up where Tom Mezek disappeared. And hopefully this week I can get out into my kayak and do some kayaking and probably live a little bit of life for a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, guys, thanks once again. And I'll see you next week.